Now, everyone, joining me, former Congressman and presidential candidate at one time, Tulsi Gabbard, who is also now part of the debate prep team. I don't know if she's on the team, but she's part of the debate prep team for President Trump. And if we have a debate, we'll see how that plays out. Tulsi, great to have you here.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for joining me.
Well, let's say you and I are just sitting at a table somewhere, bar, poolside, and we're having a conversation about debate strategy. So, let's talk debate strategy. Given what we've seen so far, and this debate over the debate, what's your take?
Well, first of all, the fact that there is a debate over the debate is very telling in and of itself. Donald Trump's campaign and Kamala Harris's campaign, they agreed to this debate on September 10th. The same rules that applied during Trump-Biden debate on CNN that we already saw. Now, all of a sudden, we're just under 2 weeks out from this debate that they already agreed to, and Kamala Harris is trying to change the rules. She wants it to be a debate where they allow the mics to be live the entire time, where she can bring her notes in to the debate with her, and where they will be seated for the entire debate. President Trump's position has been pretty clear, where he says, hey, look, we already agreed to the terms of this debate. We should stick with those terms, which is the same rules that he debated Joe Biden. The fact that Kamala Harris is trying to change the rules here now, just days out from when the debate is supposed to occur, I think to me it says that she's afraid. She's afraid to debate Donald Trump. If she can't debate Donald Trump on the issues, on her record and his record, frankly, without notes in front of her and without sitting down, she's got much bigger problems.
Yeah. While I've never run for president, I've debated. I've moderated debates at the state levels and the congressional level. And I see them trying to put a strategy, to your point, in place to create that moment. Seating is different than standing. There's an optic to it, right? And you've been at this for a while. You understand the optics of how people perceive even a visceral reaction. But beyond that, the notes concern here is reminiscent of the failure of Biden in trying to provide her with a backstop in addition to that moment. Would you ever, if you were President Trump, agree to a debate with notes allowed?
No. I mean, this is again, this is one of the basics. As you said, you've got experience in debates. I've got just a little bit. But these debates are an opportunity for voters to be able to look at and listen to these candidates running for president, compare and contrast their record, their positions, and their capability. The problem with Kamala Harris is not her wanting to bring notes into this debate reinforces what we already know to be true, which is she absolutely struggles if she is not using a script, if she is not using a teleprompter, and in this case, apparently, if she doesn't have notes in front of her telling her what her position is supposed to be, what her answer should be on different issues. They're making this request in the last hours here, the last days before this debate, really reveals more of her weakness and her vulnerability. And quite frankly, if this debate still happens where President Trump has an opportunity to challenge her on her record, that she has quite a significant record on all of the important issues of the day, and let her respond. What voters will very likely see is how unprepared she is and how she struggles without having her pollsters telling her what she is supposed to say.
My guest, Tulsi Gabbard, former congresswoman and a former presidential candidate. Let's talk mechanics of debate for the moment, and actually moments, more likely, and I'm sure you remember that moment with Kamala Harris when you took her on in her first run on the issue of being Attorney General and what happened in California. And in debates, you want to leave a moment or put a moment out there. Of course, the media will spin on the left however they want, but you want to put it out there for the people watching. One of the strengths, I believe, and one thing that the left now realizes, the Democrat Party, the DNC, and certainly Kamala Harris, is that in the debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, the clock, not the clock, but shutting off the microphone was an advantage for Trump because he was able to focus, be clear, and we saw the failure of Biden in some cases to fill the 2 minutes. So that microphone, I think, is important because they want to have that moment we're talking about. They want that interruption. They want something they can run with and create memes around. As far as the microphone, where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I think they should stick to the no microphones. To me, when I watched the debate between Biden and Trump, I actually found it to be a much more, a better experience as a viewer, where I didn't have to deal with what we've seen in a lot of debates where you have people screaming over each other, and you can't understand what they're trying to say, what anyone is trying to say. I think the no mic thing, yeah, sure, it may have advantaged Trump, but I think just from a viewer standpoint, to be able to just focus as a viewer on what one person is saying and then shift and allow the other person to respond, I think the moderators did a great job in allowing. That was my concern when I first heard that rule, that you wouldn't have that dynamic back and forth between both candidates, but the moderators did a great job in making that space and that opportunity available, and we saw it done, and I thought it worked well.
Yeah. We don't want you to give away any secrets. You always have to save something for the surprise, and if there's a debate, and I really hope there is a debate, I think, one, the voters deserve to see the two candidates on the issues, and especially for those not in the echo chamber for either party, those undecided voters or uncommitted voters. What are some of the things you're doing in debate prep with the and given that, look, I don't know him well, we've known each other a long time, and Trump has his weaknesses. He can be baited, he can be goaded. So, what are some of the things you're doing in debate prep?
President Trump, he is out there on the campaign trail every day, just taking questions from reporters. I think he had this record-long back and forth with reporters in the press pool for, I think it was close to 2 hours a week or so ago. So his command of the issues and his ability to answer any question on any issue is there. He doesn't need to be prepped for that. The thing that if I can be helpful to him in any way, it really just comes from my experience with Kamala Harris on the debate stage. And, the kinds of tactics that I fully expect her to try to use in that debate to try to deflect away from and hide her actual record. She's going to say a lot of things that are directly opposite from a policy standpoint to the record that she has. And she's going to try to deflect away from herself. And I'm sure she's going to try to bait Donald Trump into walking into those traps that she will set. So he knows the issues. He knows his record. He knows her record. It's going to be an opportunity for him to not only share his vision for our country and how he will fix what has been broken, but point to the fact that, hey, we didn't get here by accident. Kamala Harris broke so much of what is providing hardship or creating hardship for Americans, and he's the right guy to fix it.
There's a part of debate that I've always found fascinating, but it's true, Tulsi. When asked a question by a moderator, how the moderator asks the question is important. We're having a conversation, it's a little different if, say, you and I were doing a hard news interview, right? And I know you know that. But the moderator asking the questions to the candidate, answering the question and putting the point out that you need to put out there. And that is something that concerns me, that the focus is to realize who you're trying to reach. Just like that I've seen you this on TV, talking radio now, but it's time to put out the point that you need to get across.
That's essential. You know, when you have limited opportunities to address many different issues, it is the candidate's responsibility in their job to be able to remember that they're not just sitting in a room talking with the moderator, that their audience is the audience at home. It's the voters who are interested and curious. If they have not yet made up their minds, or if they're open to changing their minds for that matter, they want to be able to see and know that you're talking to them, that you're talking to us as voters through that camera. And that is the opportunity that President Trump has here. As he gets attacked left and right. There's this caricature of him that the media has created. There's a caricature of him that Kamala Harris and the Democrats have created. But really, this election is not about him. It's about the American people and how he will bring real solutions to solving the great challenges that we face.
Tulsi Gabbard, former congresswoman, a veteran as well. Thank you for your service, former presidential candidate, and of course, the presidential debate prep, what we're talking about here. Let's turn this to the people watching and listening. What do you say to them? What should they be looking for?
Look past the political drama and the political theater that these debates so often become. Don't be distracted by that. Instead, look to the truth about these two candidates and their record. There is a very clear record to compare and contrast. With Kamala Harris, you're going to hear a lot of words, but they stand diametrically opposed to her record. She says she stands for freedom. Yet, even as Mark Zuckerberg just came on and admitted the Harris-Biden administration bullied Facebook into censoring Americans' free speech. She says she stands for democracy and the rule of law. Well, their record, President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, has spent the last 3.5 years undermining our democracy and rule of law by weaponizing the Department of Justice and law enforcement to go after their political opponents, foremost among them being Donald Trump. I am the most recent target. After criticizing Kamala Harris and her record, I was put on a secret domestic terror watch list. I've served in the military for over 21 years. I've deployed to war zones. I've put my life on the line to defend the safety, security, and freedom of our country, but to speak of my service in Congress. And yet the political retaliation continues. On virtually every issue that Kamala Harris is now moderating her stance on and trying to change her position and say what she believes voters want to hear, yet she has no record, no explanation even to voters about why she has changed her position all of a sudden. Voters need to focus on the truth. Don't fall for the lies.
Tulsi Gabbard, former congresswoman and former presidential candidate, veteran as well. Thank you. I hope you'll come back and we'll have many more conversations.
Thank you so much. It's great to talk to you.